been quite a conference, isn't it? Inspiring speakers, entertaining speakers, different speakers, motivating speakers. Fabulous. Peter Davey, you've done a great, great job. Let me thank you for what you've done. Let me thank Peter Offer for taking such good care of us. Peter is my erstwhile colleague on the board, and as I told you the other day, he does well for you. I loved your speakers. I loved all of them. The polio session was fantastic. Jeff Miller, I mean, he was just super. And there's a great, great game coming up tonight. I don't know, West Indies or England, but let's wait and see. You know, I don't know whether you heard about another game that, I don't know whether it took place. There was a challenge anyway. I'm told that once the Devil challenged St. Peter for a cricket match up there. And St. Peter told him, "Are you serious? Do you know the type of people I've got up here?" And the Devil said, "What, like whom? We can still beat you." He said, "Well, you know, I've got Jack Hobbs and Bert Sutcliffe opening batting. I've got Bill Ponsford. I've got Don Bradman coming at number 4. I've got Wally Hammond. I've got Ranjit Singh from India. I've got Everton Weekes and Frank Worrell from West Indies. I mean, I have the best wicketkeeper in Godfrey Evans. I've got great fast bowlers in Larwood and Truman. How on earth can you beat me?" And the Devil said, "Yeah, you have all these guys, but I have all the umpires." I want to take you back a few years. Boxing Day 2004, when we had the tsunami that hit us, destroyed my country virtually. And one of those holidaying at that time in the southern city of Gaul was an immediate past governor of Rotary from Germany, a lady named Kerstin Jeska-Thowat, very prominent lawyer from the Nuremberg area. And she had another colleague around there at that time that was the Chancellor of Germany, former Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl, who of course was quickly airlifted. Jessica, of course, went down to town the next day, and she found a totally destroyed hospital, a hospital that was built in 1840. The maternity section was just next to the sea. Fortunately, the retaining walls, which the Brits built those days, thank God, stopped the force of the water. And when the water came into the ward, it wasn't too strong, and they managed to evacuate all the ladies who were there. But she realized very quickly that these women had nowhere to go. They were shunted into some other hospital which was already overcrowded, and they were actually delivering babies on the floor. And so she went to the doctor and said, "How can I help?" And the doctor said, "How can you help? We need everything. There's nothing here." What he didn't realize was that he was speaking to Kerstin, who was a very, very capable lady. She quickly drove down to Colombo, and she met up with some of my club's Rotarians, and she sent out a series of emails to her office and to her colleagues. And within 2 weeks, the office was jammed. Her office there in Nuremberg was jammed with equipment to be sent to Sri Lanka immediately. She had 2 tons of supplies: scalpels, drapes, arm slings, gloves, 3 ultrasonic scanners, 1,500 diapers, and in another 1 month, she had 7 tons more of this stuff. So it meant that immediately the hospital down south in Sri Lanka could start doing C-sections, but that was only the beginning, because in a few weeks, Kerstin managed to round up 200 clubs in Germany in 13 districts, 6,000 Rotarians, and put together 1.5 million euros for a major hospital project. And then Helmut Kohl, who was there, said, "I need to do something for these people," and he put in some money from the foundation. The Triumph Company, Adidas, and there's one more, Siemens, said, "We'll put in some money." My club joined up. We got funds from the Rotary Foundation, and the result was a brand new hospital virtually. We now have 20 buildings standing there, and it is one of the great success stories of Rotary, which you'll probably read in the March magazine of the Rotarians. And you know, since the time that hospital was built, we've had 160,000 babies born there. We've had 2.5 million women who got admitted for gynecological care. But what impresses me most was when I was looking at the statistics for last year, out of the 112,000 babies born, there was not one case of a death due to childbirth. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a statistic which even your own country would be very proud about. Now, why am I telling you all this? Why am I telling you about no deaths, about the lives saved? Why am I telling you about a German lady who did something in Sri Lanka? Because I was attending with Vanthi a dinner in Germany about a month ago. And this dinner was really in Nuremberg to thank all these 6,000 Rotarians who helped us. And when I was standing there, I was wondering, where did all this begin? It did not begin with the tsunami. It did not begin with Kirsten, deciding to help all these people. It really began some time ago. It began when Rotarians realized that to serve, they have to do it differently. It began when we started admitting qualified women into Rotary. And thank God, someone like Kirsten got into Rotary at that time under great objections. Under tremendous resistance from German Rotarians. And that's the same in the rest of the world, when in other parts, including UK, when women first came in, there was resistance. Of course, they resist to everything. I mean, when you want to change times of meetings, there is resistance. When you want to introduce more flexibility, there is resistance. When you want to adapt ourselves a little better to bring younger members in, there is resistance. I mean, I have letters from senior leaders writing to me and saying, you can't be doing things like this. You see, so we must understand that it is never easy to move away from tradition. But sometimes we must move away from tradition. Not all traditions. There's one tradition which is very, very important. A tradition which is most vital for us. A tradition which really defines us. A tradition which we must always respect and which must always be at the forefront of all our thinking. A tradition which, whether we are making a choice or whether we are deciding in what direction this organization is moving, must always be on top. And that tradition is the tradition of service above self. When you follow that tradition, ladies and gentlemen, our course may not be easy, but our path is very, very clear. That tradition, we set the health of the organization before the habits of clubs. We must set the work of tomorrow before the familiarity of today. We must set the needs of others before the conveniences of ourselves and our own desires. And that is the tradition which Rotary now faces at this point. You see, in many parts of the world, we are stuck with these old traditions, and these are the places where membership is also going down. Japan, RIBI in 2004, you had 57,000 members in 1,840 clubs. Today, you have 49,000 members in 1,780 clubs. But what's worse, today the average age of RIBI Rotarians is 74. And sadly, one of the big causes of attrition is death. We need younger members. That is abundantly clear. Without a new generation of Rotarians, there is no future for Rotary, either here or elsewhere. We have to place our tradition of service above self beyond everything else. And I say this to you because in your hands, in my hands, lies this tradition which is too valuable to lose, which need not be lost, which President Davy, I know, has done some tremendous work in changing things around here. I mean, the clubs in Britain are actually doing better. I've seen some of the results. You're doing well. But the choice, I think, to bring in women was what truly invigorated us. And I'm again saying choice to bring in qualified women. I'm not just saying grab anyone from anywhere, and certainly not suggesting that you poach women from other organizations. So the chart, if you look at the chart of your overall membership, if you compare it with the chart of female members in RIBI, you can see that they're going in opposite directions. Membership, as I said, is dropping, but look at female membership in RIBI. In 2010, you had 5,667. Today, you have 7,334, as per the last records that I saw. Now imagine if this growth was for scale. You will probably find the graph going the other way in every aspect. And I'm glad that today you have clubs which have brought in 1 or 2 or even 3 women, and I encourage them. Because I'm speaking about qualified women. You see, in England, I saw some statistics where 47% of your working force are women. I saw the FTSE 100. A full 17.3% of those directors are ladies. If you look at the FTSE 250, almost 14% of those directors are ladies. And I'm asking you, why are they not in Rotary? You see, I'm aware that the subject I'm talking about, youngsters, ladies, is not the best way to improve Rotary. It is the only way. And you need to look at it in that sense. You need to understand that if you're not going to select from half the population in the world, that reduces your ability by half. It closes half the perspective you have towards the essential services we deliver to communities. If Kirstine was not there in Gaul on that tsunami day, I don't think any male here, including myself, would have thought of a maternity ward, maternity hospital. We would have thought of other things maybe, but not a maternity hospital because we don't know the difference. If you look at the Indians, they are building 20,000 toilet blocks. 20,000 toilet blocks consists of 4 toilets per block in 20,000 schools, 40,000 toilets, 2 for girls, 2 for boys. Do you realize that those toilet blocks will change the face of education in India? Because girls who drop out of schools when they're 11, 12, 13 now stay on simply because there's a toilet available. Now the idea came from the women who were there. We don't understand these things. And that's why it is so important that you get more women into Rotary. Now, there are clubs who stand firm and says, over my dead body. I call these clubs Jurassic Parks. If there are any members here from that audience, you can take it from me, you're going to be dead in the next 10 years. You can order your tombstone now, and I recommend that you engrave on it the words, I refuse to take a woman. We desperately need everyone in the world who can serve us. I'm not only telling you this, I'm telling Rotarians in the United States, in Japan, wherever I go, because that's an issue that you have to make. We have to take up seriously. And it's an issue that is coming up at call about flexibility, about younger people coming in, about empowering clubs to make the right decision to move away from traditions. You know, I joined Rotary when I was 21 years old. I did not join it for service. I joined it for social reasons. I was looking for friends. And tell me how many people join Rotary today when they're 21? How many people join Rotary today when they're 30 or 35 for that matter? You are no longer, it is no longer relevant in the ways that we were. We need to make some serious changes, because when it comes down to the future of our organization, if these changes are not made, we are in big, big trouble. You know, I'd truly like to take some of the Rotarians around the places where we go to. I was in in Rwanda just a month ago, and I wish I could have taken some of them along. Because in Rwanda, I found there was a team of 25 or 26 Indian surgeons who had taken over a hospital given by the government. The team was led by past President Raja Sabu, and they had taken over 6 operating theaters, and they were doing 350 to 400 surgeries over that 1 week. So I decided that my wife and I will go and join them and work with them for a day. So we put on our mask, our caps scrubbed, and put on all that gown and all that, and worked in the operating theater. I know my wife was very worried whether I'll faint when I walk into the theater, but I tell you, I found it fascinating. Orthopedics, ENT, urology, and general surgery. I saw them taking a 5-pound tumor out of one woman. I saw some intricate surgeries being done. And you know what? Because I was there, those doctors were so impressed. I mean, they were doing extra special, I think sometimes to show off to me what they were capable of delivering. But I'm not a doctor, but I realized that I can do what an ordinary orderly does. I can move patients from stretcher to stretcher. I can bring in wheelchairs. I can organize the little things about making sure it works like a production machine, next patient coming in, and so on. But it's not, that's not what I wanted to tell you. There was a point I wanted to make, and that was there is no position in Rotary which is so high that you cannot do hands-on work. And that's the message I wanted to send. Now, when we came out, this is really not what I wanted to tell you. When we came out of that hospital, out of that theater, there was a crowd waiting to take us into another room where they said there are some people waiting to meet. When we walked in, there were these 10 or 12 women with children all clapping and cheering when I walked in. I mean, as though I was some hero. And then I realized they had come with their little kids, ages ranging from 3 years to about 7 years. Children who were all diagnosed with heart disease and condemned to death, saying there's nothing we can do. Till Rotarians in Rwanda agreed to pay the airfare of these children to send them to India. And in India, in sophisticated hospitals, Rotarians not only got the surgeries done, they looked after them, went through the after-surgery care, and shipped them back. And the mother glees and says, "Look at my child. They said she would die, but look at her, she's dancing, she's singing." And she said, when I sent her off in the plane, I cried and cried and cried because I thought she will never come back. You see, when you meet children and mothers like this, when you meet someone who says, my child wouldn't live without Rotarians, then you realize what an awesome tradition that we have, what an awesome responsibility, how our livelihoods literally depends on the work we do, how our responsibility, we must guard it, we must cherish it, we must pass it down from generation to generation, strength to strength, for we have so much work to do, and we have so much service to offer. We cannot right all the world's wrongs. We cannot give every child every opportunity, but we can do with Rotary what Mother Teresa said. We can follow her dictum. She says, I do what I can, where I am, with what I have. For through Rotary, we know that each individual efforts of what we do, where we are, with what we have with our own lives, these are the efforts that come together to build something that is real, to build something which is remarkable, to build something that is lasting. They give the chance to do something we could only do, my friends, with Rotary, to change the lives of nations, to change the lives of the future of our countries, to be a gift to the world. Thank you. It's been wonderful being with you.